Hey everybody, welcome to a brand new episode of the Filemaker series. We're all the way up to episode 12. And today what we're looking to do is we're looking to take and create that register 3. I know you guys weren't with me with the register 2. I kind of did that off on my own and just kind of created it as I could. Let's see, where am I at? I gotta do something here. Real quick, gotta start something up. Just to make sure that we're good to go. So one of the things that I wanted to show you was how to, I know it's kind of weird that the screen blacked out and everything. One of the things I wanted to show you how to do was to do this register 3. Right now what we're doing is we have on this register 3, let's see, what do we have? It's go to layout unknown. Well, we obviously don't have a register 3 layout, do we? We don't have anything previously set up. So let's get started on doing that. And I think what we'll do is we'll just tell this button to do nothing for now, and we'll just kind of set it off, because as you will discover, the register 2 button it has quite a large script that actually is involved with it. But we'll just go ahead and do this. So one of the things that we want to do is we want to go into manage our database. And in the database, we see in our tables, we're starting to collect quite a few tables. One of them that we did here is register 2 and invoice 2. So for a third register, we're going to need to make sure that we do our register 3 and our invoice 3. So it's pretty simple. Just go ahead and type those in. Register 3, we'll create that, and invoice 3, we'll create that one. Now in our register 3, we need to start building those fields. Now if we went back to our register 2 table, we see all of the ones that we need, because they have to be, we need them to be relatively identical, not like exactly the same, but we need to be able to make sure that when we're changing the names in the boxes, we're changing what we're wanting it to do, or where we're wanting it to take data from, that we can easily recognize it. So I would recommend definitely typing these out on a page or putting these someplace where you can basically duplicate those. So we're going to go into our register 3. And the first one that we're going to go ahead and create is our ID number. And that one is going to be an auto enter serial number. So it's obviously going to be a serial number. And we're going to have, it's going to be an auto enter serial number. And just, it doesn't matter, just leave it at 1 and we're good to go with that. Now we need to make, and I just double clicked on that line, just kind of like slow double clicked, and it'll highlight the whole thing. So the next thing that we're going to need is our date, and it is actually a date. So let's go over here, a date, create, and we're going to double click on that because we want that on modification basically. So whenever the field is modified, it will automatically update the date, and that's kind of what we need. So coming back, we'll need the invoice lock, and we can do, you know, if you want to do the underscore, you can do invoice lock, you can do invoice lock 3, you can do, you know, whatever it is that you want to do. Sometimes it's good to kind of just keep track of them. So invoice lock 3 would be good, and that's a control N, so it is a number. Then we have the security box. Security box 3, and that is also a number, so we can just go ahead and press enter. We have our invoice number, which is an auto enter serial number. So we'll do invoice underscore number 3, and that's a number. So, but it will be an auto enter serial number. So we're going to click on it, and it's going to be a serial number. And if you remember correctly, it's a 3 because we're going to do 3 now. And then we're going to do, I believe it's 7 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It might be 8. I don't remember. If we need to, we can add another 1 to it. And it's as easy as you could just say OK and then exit the layout. And you can see right here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 9 total digits here. So we can just go back into edit our layout, manage our database, and go right back into right where we were on our tables for our register 3. So in this one, we just need to double click it and then just add an extra 0 to it. So now that there's a total of 9 digits there, that's what we're looking for, a total of 9 digits. And then from there, we're going to do the scanner data, which is a text. Oop, that one wouldn't do it. Scanner data 3, which is a control T. And I'm just adding these on there so that I know that they're the 3 series. That's, you know, that they're all going to go into the same thing. Quantity underscore data 3. It is also, oh, well, that's actually a number, control N. So it doesn't, you know what, I should just make that a text instead of a number. Because I think that's what I had them on in my other ones, is text. Just in case I wanted to add something else to it. Because if it's a text, it can be a number or a text. But if it's a number, it can't be a text, it has to be a number. So that's kind of where we're stuck right there with that particular deal. So now we have the quantity data. We need the username. And we'll do username 3. And that's obviously going to be a text. And then we have the hold, all of your hold buttons. So hold 1, hold 2, hold 3, hold 4. So I can do, I want to do, I'm just debating on whether I want to just do 1, 2, or whether I want to do hold 1, 3, something like that. And that be a text. And then I can just come in here and click on that and delete go 2, hold 2, 3, enter. Enter. And then we can get our 4 and enter that. So now we have our hold 1, hold 2, hold 3, hold 4. And we didn't even have to type out all that stuff out. We just easily made that. And then the last thing that we're going to use is the user pass, and we'll do user pass 3. And I believe that is a text as well. You guys will let me know if I'm not doing it right, for sure, for sure. That should round out the fields basically for the register 2. Now we need to go to register, or the invoice 3, the register 3 invoice 3. Make sure I did that right. Yep. Okay. So now we're going to do the invoice part of it. The invoice part of it is we need the register link, if you guys can remember correctly. So we'll do the register link underscore link, and that's actually, I didn't even type anything. Register link, and we're going to do that 3, but that actually is a foreign key. So it needs to be a number. And how we use the register link is when we go into our relationships table and we're with our register 3 here and our invoice 3, we actually are going to use this register link. As you guys can see, we've got here we've got register link on these, and they're attached to the ID. And so that's kind of what we need to do. We need to follow that same thing and just reach over and grab it and attach it. We can basically do with it, manipulate it however we want to. I think probably the best thing to do is just grab it and bring it down like so. And then you got to double click on these so that you can basically say, look, I want it to allow the creation of records in these. I do the delete records when it just on this side of it, on the register side of it, not the invoice side of it. I will say okay. And now if we close these down, we make them small. We can change the color if we want to, no big deal. We can also move them around, as you can see. So we can grab them and line them up even Steven with where what we're looking at. So, and if you're unsure of if you're actually lining these up correctly, you can always just grab a hold of them and then you can line them to one side or another. So you can align the left edges and you can grab these and you can align them to the right edges. And then if you want, you can also grab them all and you can space them, distribute them evenly on a vertical plane and not a horizontal plane. Oh, look, I just messed it up. Control Z, Control Z. Okay, so apparently you're gonna have to do it this way. Distribute vertically. Oh, there we go. Distribute vertically. Now they should be all the same, all in a nice line, and you can do with them whatever you want to. I personally don't deal a lot with that. USA Refurb, how are you? Happy 2018. Absolutely, it is happy 2018. So in this particular sense, I don't really do a lot with the relationships because most of my stuff is unrelated. I do, however, like to keep this looking really good if I can. So I like to make them small just because I don't like them in the way. And the ones that are actually linked to each other, like the time records one that I currently have, you guys can see. I can grab these things and put them all up in here. Grab the My Solution, inventory sales. Okay. So out of all of these, I can actually just grab them all. Come on, you. Grab this one, grab this one, grab this one. And notice how much better that looks when you do that. So you can grab all of these and you can align them all to that left edge if you want to. And then we can also distribute them evenly in a vertical fashion so that now they're all like in a nice even fashion. And then you can move them wherever you want to, where they look best for you. And that way you can see where we've kind of made them look so much, our relationships look so much better when they are in order of each other. So there we go. So now remember the mess we did have. Now look at it now. So let's go back to our fields because we are doing the invoice 3 section now. So we did get our register link. We now need the product ID. So we're going to just type in product underscore ID and we can say 3 after it, and that's going to be a text. So Control T will give us a text. And then let's see what else we need. Price, quantity. So we'll do price, and that's going to be we'll do price 3. That is going to be a number. So Control N for a number. And then we need actually the product ID is a number, isn't it? Because it's just we can just change that to number, no big deal. So we'll just change it to number and change it because we haven't added anything to it, so it's not going to be that big of a deal. So now if we come down here, we highlight this, we can now enter in our quantity. And we'll do quantity 3, that's also going to be a number. And then we have the state tax, the product name. So let's do product underscore name 3. And that's a Control T because it's a text. We'll do our state tax. State or tax. Well, I did misspell a few things, but state tax 3 is kind of what we're looking for. Now that is actually a calculation. But we can't actually do it because we don't have the state rate yet, right? So what we should do is we should write state rate 3 because that's kind of a necessary thing. And that one is what is the state rate? It is an auto enter number. So it's got to be number. So we'll go ahead and create it. And it's a value. It's an auto. It's a data thing. So it's I think it's 0.0. 0.05 here for our taxes. So we'll call that good. Now we have the state rate. Now we need the state tax. State tax 3, and that is a calculation. Create. Oh, state rate 3 is already, okay, all right. State tax. Why did I put that in there like that? State tax. Create. Okay, so the state tax is actually a calculation from, it is the subtotal times the state rate, right? We didn't even put the subtotal. Let's cancel that for now. Let's just make this a number. We'll go ahead and create it just to get it out of my way, because we do need to like get them all. Sometimes it's easier to go back and make changes after the fact. So we have the state rate, we have the state tax, we have the product name, we need the price total. Price total 3, and we're just going to call that a number because it's actually a calculation for now. So we'll just follow me through it. We will obviously get through there. And then we have the subtotal and the summary price total. So the summary price total 3, and that is a summary, and it's a summary of the price total. Summary of, yeah, summary. Create. Average of price total. Okay. Call that good. There we go. So then we have the grand total, and then the amount tendered. Learn how to spell. Amount tendered 3, and that is that's actually a calculation, but we're going to call it a number. Okay, so I'm kind of losing my place of where I was in this. So we have the price, we have the quantity, the name, the price total, the summary, the subtotal. Did we get the subtotal? Subtotal 3. The subtotal 3 is actually a is also a summary, and it is a summary of the price total, which is kind of weird. I don't know why I did that twice, but. And then the grand total. Did I get grand total in there? No. Grand total. And the grand total is actually a calculation of the subtotal plus the state tax. So we can actually do this one now. So it is a calculation, and the is, as we said, it is the subtotal plus the state tax. And our state tax is actually a calculation, and it's the subtotal times the state rate, right? Calculation, change. Okay. So it is the subtotal times the state rate. Times the state rate. Because that will actually, yeah, because that'll actually give us that small number. So that's how much tax we actually created, or how much tax we actually got. So the price total is a calculation of the quantity times the price. So price total is a calculation as well. And I know, hopefully I don't lose you guys, but it is kind of, you kind of got to put all the data in. I mean, you kind of got to like list everything, because if you don't have it listed first, then you can't do it. You know, your calculator thing is going, well, you didn't even create that field yet. So you have to create all your fields first. So the price total is actually a quantity times the price. So it's quantity times price. Okay, and then the amount tendered is actually just a number. It's just a number, isn't it? Because that's how much we actually are giving, how much we're putting into it. So it's just an amount tendered. Okay, so then we have the grand total, we have the state rate, we have the amount tendered. We now need the change due. Change due 3, and that is a calculation of the amount tendered minus the grand total. Calculation, enter, of the amount tendered minus grand total. Amount tendered minus grand total. Okay. It does get a little confusing when you start doing all this stuff, right? It does get a little confusing. So now what we have is if you remember correctly, we also have some additional things that we added in there. So we have to have the cash paid and the credit charge as well. So we'll do cash paid 3, and that is just a number. So it's just Control N, and the credit underscore charge 3, that is actually it's the grand total minus the cash paid. So it is actually a calculation. And we'll create it, and it is, so the grand total minus the cash paid. Grand total minus cash paid. And I think that's all of them. So let's see, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we have 15 there. And if we go to our invoice 2, there should be 15 there as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we got them all correct. We got them all there. So let's see, state tax, text, product name is text. Quantity times the price, unstored, amount tendered, auto enter data. Yep. Invoice 2, invoice 3. Auto enter data. There it is. So we pretty much, it looks pretty much the same. They're a little in a different order, but that's okay. We're not too worried about that. And we'll just go ahead and call that okay. Now we actually get to do something really cool. Now is when we get to create that third invoicing solution. So if we go into edit our layouts and we manage our layouts, and right now we're on the entry page, but we kind of need to go into register 1. So if we go into register 1 and we duplicate it, now it'll say register 1 copy. So if we edit that, we can actually call this register 3. So we could just get rid of that. Let's call it register 3. And it wants us to show records from where. That's kind of a big deal. So we need to make sure that we're showing the records from the right spot. Hopefully you guys can see. Hopefully I'm not in front of anything. But it isn't from register 1. It is from register 3 is where we're wanting to show those records from. And so now we're good to go. Let's take our register 3 and let's move it down here to register 3. Now you'll notice that we have a register 1 and then a register 1x, a register 2 and a register 2x, register 3, and we're going to have a register 3x. What the x is for is it is like this one. If I go ahead and open this, and I'll show you guys really fast what it looks like. What it does is, if you guys remember on the last episode, we kind of got rid of all of the buttons and the stuff. This is the one that a manager or an administrator would look at. They would kind of look at it behind the scenes. So if you're on your register, if you're on your invoicing solution and you're making changes to it all the time, that your admin or your management isn't messing with your data. They're allowing you to have control of what you're doing, and they're just looking at previous records. So that's why we have a duplicate of that. So in this sense, we will go ahead and close this down, and we will close this down because we don't need that. So we do need to go to our register 3 because right now it is, oh, the wrong one. We need to, let's get back out of here and go back to the entry page. Oh my goodness, it just scared the bejesus out of me. So we're going to manage our layouts really fast, and we got these 2 new ones that we need to get rid of, right? And so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to close my templates down and close my admin down. I'm going to grab this one and bring it all the way up underneath the unused, all the way up underneath the unused. Now you can't add it to the unused until you open the unused, and then you just grab it and push to the side. Grab it, push to the side. Come on. There you go. You turkey. Stop it. Doesn't want to go for some weird reason. Register 3. Probably because its name. There it goes. Oh, it's going to crash on me. I've been having that issue lately where I am, my thing is, my OBS is, or my FileMaker Pro Advanced has been crashing on me because I've got several systems open all at one time. And so it's been kind of crashing on me when I'm messing with it. It operates perfectly when I'm not messing with it, but when I'm making major changes to it, it tends to have an issue. So keep that in mind. I did tell you from the very beginning that it is glitchy, or it can be glitchy. So make sure that when you're making changes to your system, after you get it all set up, it's usually okay because the changes you make are pretty minor. And if you do lose contact for a moment, for a minute, whatever, it's usually not fatal. It's usually not something that, you know, you have to close the whole system down and bring everybody back up and stuff like that. It usually just will kind of mess with you a little bit. But in this system, I have several ones open. So the ones for my store are already open, and I have other ones running in the background. So I kind of have to be careful what I do because I've got too much information that's like bottlenecking in there. But we did make that. It did happen. So let's get out of that. And I think we should be able to actually get to our register 3 from here because I did leave it unchecked. And if you exit the layout, you all of a sudden see all of these question marks. Well, what's that question mark mean? The question mark means that it doesn't know, it doesn't understand what you want it to do. So we actually have to go in and edit our layout, and if we double click on it, it'll tell us. We don't need that box. But it'll tell us, well, what do you want it to do? Well, it's not register 1, we want it to be register 3, right? In your solution. So if you just go into the current table, and it'll pre-select the security box for you. So because it says, is this the right one? Is this the one that you want? And in our subtotals, we can do, it's in the invoice, but you have to go all the way to the top, invoice 3, subtotal, or that one is actually a subtotal. So I don't know why it's doing that, but because it's not a summary price total, it's actually a subtotal. So I'm going to do subtotal 3. I don't know why it was doing that, but whatever. And then this one is going to be invoice 3, and it's going to be the state tax. So state tax 3. And you just have to make all of these changes. That's kind of the big deal. You just make all of the changes to your boxes. So this one is on invoice, and you can see it's written way over here. It says invoice grand total, which is kind of good because you get to leave that open, right? So you can go to here and you can say, okay, invoice 3, grand total 3, because that's what you're looking for is invoice 2, grand total 3. You're just replacing them with the boxes that are similar. So in this one, it is the amount tendered. And so we need to go and change this to invoice 3 and then amount tendered 3. And just click on it and it's good to go. Change due. Now the change due actually has, it does have something interesting on it because we did put something interesting on it. And I'll show you how to deal with that here in just a second. So it's invoice and then a change due 3. And so now when we go here and we look at it, there's a few things first and foremost. If we click on it, it says hide is empty, amount tendered. Well, the problem is empty, amount tendered, invoice 1. So this needs to say is empty, and that would be amount tendered 3 for the current register, right? Invoice. Where is it? Invoice 3. Okay. Amount tendered 3. So now it will work during that. Now there's also another thing in here too, because we did have a conditional format, and it says formula is change due is less than 0, bold, colored text, blah 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 blah. Well, in this particular sense, the invoice change due button that's invoice 1. So we need to make that invoice 3 change due, right? So invoice 3, then change due. Where is it? Change due 3, okay, is less than or equal to, and we'll just do these, and 0.00. So now it will actually change it to that. So we can say, okay, so now it is invoice 3, because if you've changed anything, I keep looking back at the chat to make sure that I'm okay, but so if you've changed anything, like this one has 2 things on it. It has the hide data when, and it also has the conditional formatting. So if there is a condition for it to work or to function. So we did change that, and now it should work perfectly. And that's where it's changing the text in the code. And so if it's less than 0, it's going to be like a different color. Or we can actually have it be nothing. It won't even show up if it's, so if you want it to, like, because sometimes our people don't use their brains, and it's $50. You know, the sale is, the amount due is $50, and they'll give them $20 in cash or whatever, and so they'll put $20 in there, and it'll say change due $30, and you just lost $30. Yeah, or you know, $10 actually, but you just lost that money because they don't tabulate that this is what, you know, the people still owe that, or whatever the case might be. So we're done with those, but now we have like these bottom ones, right? So we have quantity data, and that's a register button, so it's registered quantity data. Well, current table is register 3, quantity data 3, and then we'll move this over just a little bit because we've got a couple of them here. Scanner data is a registered deal, so we have to go all the way to the top. Register 3, scanner data 3. Ta-da! Look how good we are. We're just bold at doing this stuff. We're so good. And then invoice. This one is going to be the related table of invoice 3, and it will be the price total summary. So it's going to be this one. And I'm going to move this over here just a little bit, guys, because we still have these buttons, like this button, right? And this one is from the invoice, so it's going to be the invoice 3 and the quantity 3. Product name, invoice 3, product name 3. Now, you guys are going to think me weird here, but there is some differences. So, and I'm double clicking on them to bring up the small window. And I have made a mistake because I know I'm making that mistake. Price total, so this one is invoice 3, price total 3. Now in this section, if we click on this box and we move this over just a little bit, you can see that I've hidden this product ID number here. So we need to make sure that we've remembered that I've hidden that product ID number there. So this is going to be on our invoice 3 and our product ID 3. And now we can click on our box again. And we can bring this back over. This is where it works out beautiful if you have, you know, like I set it up to right where this corner was. Now this date thing, you're just going to have to get rid of it, because the reason why you're going to have to get rid of it is because we've merged the text there. So this date, we'll just delete it, and we can grab a text, put it in here, Control M, which is merge fields, and we are looking for the date, which is going to be in our current table, date. And now if you click off of it, you can click on it, move it to the center or wherever you want to. But the big thing is you want to make sure that you get it to the right size. And I think I just did this one Bookman old style and not. Of course I made it big, put it in the center, and then I just put this in the center. So it's like that. And then I think I also made it yellow in color, which is just great. I like yellow. Okay, so now we fixed that. And I think we've got everything except for these bottom buttons, right? So we've got this one, and this one is going to be the under the register button. So this is our invoice number, but it is under our current one. So invoice number. And then there's nothing else next to it. And there's a couple more of them over here. We're going to go through all this stuff. And then I'm going to show you guys some stuff, but there is like the hold button that we had to do as well. And then there's some scripting stuff that we have to do, but we'll just kind of hold off on that scripting for now because it's pretty much basic. You just take your cash button script, copy it, duplicate it, and then you change all of your links to make sure that you're taking them from register 3 and invoice 3, so that you leave all of this, the names of your variables the same and where the variables go, but you're going to make some changes. So in the next episode, we'll go through all the scripting for this invoice. But for now, I'm just showing you how to make all of the changes. And I did make a mistake. I just want to show you what happens when you do make that mistake. So in case you guys were not watching, don't worry, it's not a mistake that you've done. It's something I haven't done that I will show you in a minute. So do everything that I've done up to this moment and you'll be just fine. So this is our user pass and it's from register. So if you double click on it, and I'm using this window right here, display data from. So I know, so this one is now going to be under the current one, register 3, and it's going to be user pass 3. And this one is the user name from our register. So we're going to go register 3. Oh, did I mess that up or not? Yes, I did. Register 3, user pass, I believe it was, or username. Let's see, what was this one? User pass. Username. Okay, so we did it correct. And this one is invoice state rate. So invoice 3 and the state rate 3. Now I hid all this stuff down here, if you guys remember correctly. I hid all this information down here because I needed it for my page, my layout, to actually make sense, so that it had the data at its disposal. But I made sure that it was, you know, I could use the screen. And hopefully you guys watched the last video. It was pretty cool. So this one is register invoice lock. So this is our invoice lock button. And the good thing is we don't have to worry about our browse mode and our find mode because it's pretty much exactly the same as it was on the last one. So if we didn't make any mistakes on our last one, we should be good to go, right? So this one is our invoice lock. And if we go to our field picker, which you can just do by double clicking, double click. Come on, there you go. To specify field. Or you can right click and then go down specify field, but I like to just double click on it and then it'll do specify field. So this one is our current register 3 and should be our invoice lock. Where is our invoice? Oh, there it is. Invoice lock. Okay, we did it. So now we've got all of these. Right, we've got everything that was on there, less the hold button. We didn't do the hold button yet, so let's do the hold button really quick. If we double click on the hold button, this is simple, easy, painless. Let me show you how to do it. Right click on the button, specify the field. The field will be register 3, hold 3, 3. Double click. Right click. Specify field, register 3. This one is hold 1, so double click. And I'm just right clicking, or yeah, I'm right clicking, not left clicking, so right clicking. So just right click, specify field. This one is the hold 4 button, so we got to go all the way to the top, register 3, hold 4, hold 4. And you'll see the numbers are changing, right? So we'll specify the field, register 3, hold 2, and we're good. Now, I don't know why I did that. So if I double click on this, I can just add the 3 to it, click in the top. So now it says Invoice Solution 3. We should be able to close this down. I don't think there's any hidden fields where I'm at. Anything that I've hidden anywhere else. I think we're good. State tax, state amount due. So exit the layout. And everything looks good. It all looks good. These buttons will work, by the way, but they're going to work for register 1, and that's not what we want. We want it to work for our register. So on the next episode, we're going to show you how to change all of that stuff. But our hold button will work just fine, other than we're going to have to do some framing of the script, and I'm going to show you guys how to do that next time as well too. But we are missing some things. First of all, we don't have any records. And what happened to our red button that was in here? There's nothing in here. What's going on? So, ta-da, that was our mistake, and I just want to show you guys that really fast. Ha ha ha, it makes people laugh a lot, but me especially. So if you click on this, you actually have to right click on it. And then you have to go to Portal Setup. And the problem is it, see how it says show related records from unknown? Because you remember, it's an entirely different table. It's an entirely different table. It has no clue what you want. So you have to tell it that you want it to show records from Invoice 3. And now it will leave everything the same. But now if you close this thing down and you start a new record, your red button will be there, your date will be there, everything will work exactly like it's supposed to. So everything is there. Now remember, these also need to be changed. The script for those will need to be changed. The script for all of these will need to be changed. So it's kind of a big deal. I wanted to create, I could have created a singular script for all of them with a bunch of ifs in there. Like if it is, if invoice starts with the number 1, then do this. If it starts with the number 2, then do this. If it starts with the number 3, then do this. But the problem was that would have been an epic script to write, and it probably wouldn't have performed as well as just doing individual scripts. And frankly, those individual scripts don't bother me at all doing them. So we do now have our register 3. And if we go to our entry page and we edit our layout and we go into register 2, what we'll see is it says register to login. Holy Moses, right? Look at that script. It goes all the way from the security box to the menu error to setting variables to the security box to freeze window, go to the layout, perform the find, enter data passwords, set variables, go to layout, register to, and then if is empty, and then this is the part where you're going to need to make the changes down here. So the script itself isn't very big. It's relatively minor, but we'll need to make those changes to that script first before we can attach it. So this is register to login. So we'll just go ahead and say OK, and we'll exit that. And we need to go in and manage our scripts. And so we do have sale cash register to, cash register to, let's see. Register to dismiss. Split sale, register one scanner. Where in the heck are you? Register to login. Okay, so we found register to login. And if we right click on it, we can actually duplicate it. And now it says register to login copy. And if we right click on it, we can rename it. And the rename that we're going to do is we're going to go back some of these. And I'm just using my directional keys and then my backspace. So we can now say register 3 login. Now this is when it usually crashes. This is when it usually goes, what? Are you kidding me? So what we'll do is we'll just come over here, cross our fingers, click on it. Stopped working. Oh well, no big deal. We'll just go ahead and reopen the program again. So you guys get to see my thing there, so that's pretty cool, huh? And so this one is one we don't have to worry about, so we can go ahead and minimize that one. That's one of my other registers that's currently running. And you'll notice that if you go to open favorites or you go to some of these other ones, you can just go to open. And your solution should be there because you're not running multiple solutions, but mine's crashed enough lately that it's having an issue finding them. Admin. Admin. And the good thing is we don't really have to worry too much about those particular things because those scripts, it saved it. Before we went on, it saved it. It's right there. Cached it. Oh, no, it's not there. It is here though. Register 3 login. So there it is. So now in our register 3 login, the very first part is it's going to go and it's going to go do the exact same thing because it's on the exact same place. And it's going to go to the security breach if your password is incorrect or whatever the case is. This set the variable pass for the security box, set the variable invoice number. Well, this one is the invoice lock 2. And it needs to be invoice lock 3. So if we just come into here, we can do, it says invoice. We're just going to specify, instead of the menu invoice lock 2, it should be invoice lock 3. And we'll call that OK. So that's kind of a big deal to do. And then it's going to go ahead and set our security box to blank, freeze the window, go to the layout user info, which you guys have been there, you've seen that. It has all the data in there that is the top security stuff, you know, that we've been putting together for our layouts. And don't worry, as long as it's not checked, no one can get to it. And because we've added the security thresholds to it, if someone tries to start a new record or try to mess with it in any way, shape, or form, it kicks them out. So you don't have to worry too much about that. Enter file mode is going to go in and do the passwords and the pass set the error capture on. It's going to look for you. That's what it's going to do. It's going to look for the user. And then if the user data is empty, it's going to go back to the original layout. So if you put a password in that is no longer functioning, or passcode, it's going to take you back to the original layout. And it's going to show a custom dialog that's basically going to say, hey, doesn't exist. Stop trying to do it. And it's going to say either, I actually wrote passcode data is either corrupted or is missing. Something simple, easy, painless, not to really mess with people. And then we set the field, the error box field +1, just to kind of keep people from making repeated mistakes. And then halt script. Then we're going to set the variable, and this variable is going to be the code, our special code, and it's going to be our password. We're going to set the variable name, and that value is going to be the user database first name and space and last name. So we're going to get the whole name. Then we're going to go to this layout register 2. Well, that's not where we wanted to go, is it? We want to go to register 3. And now, if is empty, invoice 2, this is where we're actually having to make the changes. So if is empty, and it may help you if you want to, if you move this box before you start messing with it, to just over where it says is empty, right here. See this? So now you can come in here and you can say is empty. And notice it didn't change this. So now you, in your brain, you can be like, okay, if is empty, subtotal. And it would be the invoice solution. So it would be invoice 3, and it would be subtotal 3. Okay. So if is empty, invoice 3, subtotal 3. Now we want to set the fields, and the fields would be register 2, username and pass name, and then go to field scanner data. Well, none of those are going to happen because this one is to specify the target field, which is the stuff that's in the purple, which is, or the red, or whatever you want to call it. This actually needs to be register 3 and username 3. And just click off of it. And then this one, specify target field, register 2 user pass, register 3 user pass 3. Did that. And then go to register 2 scanner data. Well, that's not what we want. We're going to specify the field, be register 3. And scanner data 3. And then halt the script. Stop. But we're going to end the if. So if our invoice 3 subtotal 3 is empty, then it's going to create a new record. That's what it's going to do. But if it's not empty, it's going to enter find mode. And it's going to look for your the invoice that you were on. So it's going to enter find mode. It's going to set the field, and this needs to be register 3 invoice number. So the target field we're looking for is register 3, and it's going to be invoice number 3. Then it's going to want to put your username in, but it's going to put it in the wrong place. So you want to make sure that we tag the target field, which should be register 3, and then username 3. And then this one, which will be our passcode, register 3, passcode 3. And now you understand why we tried to keep those our labels nearly the same, because we can then identify them. We can say if you had quantity data here, and then you had quantity data here, that's what you want. You want them to be the same thing. You don't want them to be like this quantity data mean one thing and this quantity data mean something else. So we tried to keep those as much the same as we possibly could. And then go to field scanner data, and all you gotta do is click on it, and we're gonna go to the scanner data 3 basically. And now if we control S, we've saved it, and this one will actually work to get us to where we want to go. So we'll go ahead and close this down. We'll exit. Actually, we have to assign it, don't we? We have to assign it. So we need to double click this. And we want it to actually perform a script. And the script that we want it to perform is, if you guys remember correctly, is, where are you? Register 3 login. Just, you can double click on it, or you can just single click on it and then press OK, and that's fine. And the options obviously change cursor to hand over button. So now if we exit our layout, and any of these will be exactly the same, but if we add our thing to it, it will take us to Invoice Solution 3. I know you guys are looking for Dancing Tim. Well, you're not going to find him not here on this station, but we did make it work, and there it is, and it's given us a brand new number. As you can see, it's given us a brand new file. See, we're already on 3 bazillion, or whatever that number is, 3 bazillion. I know you guys. I know you guys know what the number is. It's 3 and 8 zeros, but like 300 million or something. But anyway, so, or 30 million. But it'll automatically take us into our scanner data. So if we had our scanner and we were doing something, it would put it in the system just like that. And our hold button will actually work in the sense that you can see the data there, but if you press the hold button, it will hold stuff on the second record and not, or the second register and not the third register. So we want to make sure that we are changing all of those. So we will do a new cash one, a new credit one, a new split pay, a new dismiss, a new exit, and a new hold on the next episode. We may not get to all of them because they are kind of difficult, but I will at least get to some of them. So you guys, because it gets pretty repetitious, I'm positive you guys can understand just from doing one of them, like the cash one, like we just did the one to get us to register 3. Guys now fully understand that. Let us do something though really quick. I want to get this exit button because it's kind of a big deal, and it's invoice exit 1, right? Invoice exit 1. So we need to go and manage our scripts really fast, and hopefully it does not fail us now, but we want to find our invoice exit. Held, register, am I missing it? Exit 1. Exit monitor. Quantity exit 2. Must be missing it somewhere. Maybe it's in our go-to scripts. Exit button. Data exit, exit from monitor, exit button. Why is it not? Invoice exit 1. Okay, so invoice exit 1, invoice exit 2. And you can see that they are going to be very different, but we do need to make sure that we get those done. So let's see what happens if we duplicate it. And we change the name. Or let's just do this. Let's just take the copy, make changes to it, and then we'll rename it. We'll Control S and save it, and then rename it. We'll just kind of go through there. So if not is empty, invoice 2 subtotal. So that's kind of where we're looking is not is empty, subtotal 2. So not is empty, and then this will be invoice 2, so this will be invoice, or invoice 3 is where we're going to need to be, invoice 3, and then subtotal. Okay. Show custom dialog, close invoice, that we don't have to worry about. And then if not is empty, register 2, hold 1. That's kind of a big deal. So we'll do not is empty. If we move this down, we can actually see what we had, so we don't have to worry so much about it. We can do not is empty, and then register 2, hold 1. So this is register 3, hold 1. Show custom dialog, close held invoice. So this is saying if there is some information in your invoicing or in your held invoicing, don't let them escape. Tell them you've got to close it out first. And then it'll say, show the custom dialog, it'll halt the script. And then if not is empty, hold register or hold 2. Now remember, in the hold 1 and the hold 2, let's see if it makes this. There we go. We can move it. So register 3, hold 2. If you remember correctly, in the hold button, it's like 4, 1, 2, 3 or something. It's like messed up. 1 and 2 are the actual numbers, and 3 and 4. So it's 3, 1, 2, 4, and those are actually just, I just put dates in there, so they're not actually being used. You can only actually hold 2 of them. So the big ones, the big information that we need is 1 and 2. Is there information in either 1 or 2? Because if there's an information in there, then we can't close out. So in register 3, blah blah blah, halt script end variable or end. And then we're going to set variables, and these variables are going to be this is register 2 invoice number. Well, this needs to be register 3 invoice number. And that's pretty simple to do. Set field, this one's register 2. Well, it needs to be register 3 username. This one is register 2 scanner data, register 3 scanner data. Go to layout, entry page, menu. So this is going to take us to our entry page. Now things are different. We're going to set our menu username to 0. I don't know why, because it's not even there. Shouldn't even be there. Shouldn't even have to worry about it. But this menu invoice lock 3 is what we need. That's our big one. And then show the custom dialog. Please make sure that you check out. We'll control S to save it now that it is saved. And I believe if you double click on the top here, we can actually make a 3 there. Click inside. Control S. We almost made it, guys. We almost made it. All right. Well, anyway, we did do what we meant to do, and that will at least get us to the page and away from the page. So now we can get to the page, and we can get out of the invoice number 3. So we now have 3 registers on our system that are fine and functioning. Well, 2 of them are fine and functioning. One still needs a little scripting. We'll mess with that later on. Obviously, as you guys can see, for every script that I do, that I have to do with FileMaker, it's kind of messing with me a little bit, and it throws me out of the program. So it's not a big deal if you're not messing with the script. So, but right now I am messing with the script. So we will see you guys on the next episode. Thanks a lot. We should see you here in a couple of days because, like I said, we're just going to do some scripting in the next one. And we will see you guys on the next episode. Thanks for joining me. Don't forget to thumbs up. Share with everybody. The more people subscribe, the better, obviously. If we can get this information out to a lot of people, that would be great. Because I would really like to see small businesses succeed. I would really like to see small businesses be able to grab a hold of what they need in their business world and not have to deal with third parties and continuously paying. You know, even though there's glitches in FileMaker, and there's a lot of them, there's a lot of glitches. If you do what I'm showing you to do, the glitches won't really affect you. They really won't bother you. There is a glitch that we did find when you're using the scanner, which is kind of an interesting thing. It allows the user to actually add new records if they want to. I would personally say just teach your people how to use it and tell them not to be pushing those buttons because that's going to create a lot of havoc. But the good thing is that the system will work well for you and will work fine for you. And if it ever comes down to it and we find a solution to that problem, which I think we will, then it'll be a simple add something. It'll be a simple take something away. simple, make something a little bit different. And obviously I'll be looking for it and you'll be looking for it. And if you let me know, I can let everyone else know. So until then, guys, thank you very much for joining me. We'll see you guys on the next episode, couple of days. Bye. Don't forget, subscribe. Bye. Oh, I pushed the wrong button.